Okay.
Take them, Daddy Diana.
Good evening, South Africa. I do look like Diana. The Prime Trio is on your timeline with the latest hashtags, and you are watching Trending SA right here on SABC3. My name is Alma Smith, not Diana, and helping me unpack the daily trends is Rifilwe with the blouse.
Hello, John.
Hello. And Mable, who didn't really put in that much effort today.
Wow. Okay. I'm
Did
not gonna
you
say
even
anything.
though?
No, I wasn't expecting that.
Okay. Msizi James also joined us. Welcome.
I try to dress in between you and my Blair, like I find middle.
So you wanted to do 1970, because
Exactly.
that right there is 1962.
And also, I'm here just for this. If anyone else, I'm just here for these mugs.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
But you know you are not taking that home.
I have to.
It is mine.
When you're on Jimmy
every
Fallon,
night.
you get to take them home.
We count them every night and we do an
Guys, let's
inventory.
congratulate our president, the youngest president we've ever had in South Africa.
Happy.
He is 68.
Yes.
The other one was Thabo Mbeki at 102,
my
and then it was Nelson Mandela at 208, and then was Jacob Zuma at 189. So the youngest president we've had.
Msizi, did you bake him cupcakes?
No, but I did sing him happy birthday. I don't know why I'm lying. I forgot, if I'm being honest about the whole situation. But thank you, Mr. President, for thank you.
And a happy birthday.
It's time for Top Trends.
Pew, pew, pew.
Now, the hashtags Java popped up on my timeline today. Now, it was a little divided out there on Twitter after Times Live reported that the NPA threw out Lady Zamal's rape case against Java. According to the authorities, the case didn't have sufficient evidence and they didn't believe it would lead to prosecution.
And it wouldn't be Twitter if they let this one slide. Uhangwela tweeted this. Said that since Java has been found innocent, are we going to cancel Lady Zama or only male artists get cancelled? And then Dreamer SIB said this. Rapists come out of the woodwork to defend rape culture because of the Java case. Just because the case was struck out of court doesn't mean the Lady Zama was lying. It's hard to prove rape cases unless a condom was used or it was reported immediately. No wonder SA is the rape capital of the world.
So right now, joining us online is Mandisa Kanyile, the Director for Rise Up Against Gender-Based Violence. Mandisa, welcome to Trending SA. You have been following this case. What do you make of these developments?
Firstly, the assumption that if a case is thrown out of the court roll, that automatically means innocence is completely untrue. The reality of the South African criminal justice system is that just in the last financial year alone, we had 53,293 cases of sexual offences and only 4,754 were actually convicted. Now, if we're talking about the rate from which you report a case at the police station to actually prosecutors deciding to take on your case, that's only 34% of cases.
Sure.
So already you've taken out over 66% of cases that are reported never even see the inside of a courtroom. It does not mean innocence. It just means, one, that realistically speaking, it becomes extreme.
Mandisa, are you there?
Lost her again.
All right.
Wow.
Okay, we seem to have lost our connection with Mandisa, but I mean, I think it's a key one that she's saying is the attrition rate of sexual offences cases. That is problematic in and of itself, but what she's saying is fundamentally it doesn't prove that there is no case. There's so many things at play, you know. And I find it interesting, the question of whether or not women should also now be cancelled, or if it's just men that get cancelled. I don't think that's the messaging with campaigns like this.
We clearly have a problem with this thing because we go through the whole let's believe the victim and then we go into let the law take its course. I think so. Number two is giving us a problem because the law is bendy strawy around this issue. So how do we do it?
Okay, let's help Mandisa. We've got her back on. Let's get Mandisa to help us interrogate that and tease that out. Where to from here? Because I guess ultimately the message that you don't want to send is that the law can't help you. There needs to be some kind of recourse.
The reality is that most of the time the law actually can't help you. And that's a really sad reality that women of this country have had to come to terms with. Because as I said, over 66% cases that go into police stations don't ever find themselves inside a courtroom. I'm not saying that people should go outside of the criminal justice system to seek justice, but we need to now overhaul our criminal justice system so that women who are the ones who are raped are not the ones who are put on trial, but it's actually the perpetrators. If we were to change the system and actually make it more survivor friendly, so that it actually helps women who have found themselves in these situations, we might find a better rate of convictions. But in our current situations, honestly speaking, if you report a rape case, the chances of you actually having your perpetrator convicted are literally sitting at 8%. Those are the statistics.
Mandisa Kanyile, thank you so much for your input this evening. We'll have to leave it right there. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Interesting insights. Well, another day, another drama in Msizi. So early this morning, the Department of Basic Education issued a statement after it was found that the Matric Maths Paper 2 was leaked via WhatsApp.
Again.
I mean, the department has confirmed that the paper was accessed in Limpopo as well as Gauteng province.
And I think that obviously that means it was accessed everywhere. A video with the leaked maths paper started circulating on social media, as you can see here. Tweeps took to Twitterville to vent their frustration. Angie weighed into this conversation with his tweet saying, "What a blow for learners who spent sleepless nights studying for the paper and department's resources to ensure exams are not compromised." I don't even think it's relevant to say that it was accessed in Gauteng and Limpopo. It's on WhatsApp, guys.
Msizi?
Yeah.
Here's my thing is that I know
Everywhere.
I probably shouldn't say this on national TV, but
Don't say
I'm just upset it didn't happen in 2011. Guys, I hated maths. And I know it's a serious issue, and of course it ruins a lot of kids' matric exams, but I hated maths. It was the one subject that I couldn't do.
But
So
you
I'm
know-
upset that
but
2011 none of this was happening.
You do realize that if this happened in 2011, you would have had to write maths twice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
If people
penny
pass,
drops.
guys.
No.
Oh, now I'm angry
No.
for everyone involved. How dare
Yes.
they? What's going on?
Hello.
Also,
And
just
the
the
thing is-
nerve and the temerity to steal a paper. My nerves would kill me. I couldn't do it.
Super
Nikwala.
weak does.
Yeah.
What I'm saying. Super weak. No, but I just hate how they keep on talking. They keep on talking about it's just in Limpopo. It's just. Have they seen how stuff goes viral in this country? That paper's in Kuruman. It's in Namibia by now.
Yeah.
No, it's in Namibia by now.
I mean, they've got no use for it, but yes, it's in Namibia.
You know what I'm saying? So what we're going to do is we're going to go through an ad break, and I want to ask you, have you ever been dumped over something petty? I don't know why I'm laughing, but we'll talk after the break. Bye. Take it away, 1971.
Listen, okay, I'm just reliving the Gothic era. Don't be jealous, my blame. Welcome back to Trending SA. We are continuing with our daily trends with this next story. Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo was all over my timeline today because he'll be essentially letting us in on his decision tomorrow on a request which was made by former President Jacob Zuma and his legal counsel to have the chair of the commission recuse himself.
Now, this comes after the former president was summoned to appear before the commission. However, the former president's counsel has stated, due to what they deemed a conflict of interest, the environment would not be comfortable for Jacob Zuma. In fact, he will exercise his right not to say anything if the chair doesn't recuse himself. Now, as is the case with everything of national interest, you weighed in on the matter, and Sangha said, the way DCJ Zondo has been so patient and fair, don't clap at me, my Blair. It's staggering that Jacob Zuma, who's not submitted a single affidavit, raises doubt about this impartiality.
Yeah.
I feel like MTB4 says Jay-Z's been dodging trials and courts forever. It's time he states his case. What is he afraid of? Mable. So this conflict of interest story,
So-called.
please explain to me.
You know, sometimes you date somebody's sister's wife, and then in 25 years ago, and then sometimes you guys can't be in the same room, and it happens. It happens to a lot of people.
I don't know, the whole thing, I mean, we can all see it's just dodging tactics, the usual go-to strategy, right? Msizi, what do you think would happen to this entire commission if the Deputy Chief Justice would actually recuse himself?
I know if I'm the only one who's worried about the money.
Yeah.
Because we'd have to start the whole process over again, and then all the taxpayer money. Guys, I love Jacob Zuma. I'm from KZN. Deep down, he's my guy. He's my president, that one. But
Msizi,
court is not meant to be comfortable at all.
Msizi, the way you talk about money and you dress like a tenderpreneur, it was not convincing.
That's why I'm worried. I'm like, I'm so worried about money.
What worries me about this whole thing is the fact that Umsholozi actually is the one that picked this guy.
Not only did he pick
please
him-
quote the papers. You were there.
I don't have the quote in front of him, but he basically told us upon appointing him, he said, guys, I have all the faith in this man. Please cooperate with the commission, be transparent, be upfront, all the best, Deputy Chief Justice, go do your thing. And now this.
Please cooperate.
How very dare he?
Please.
Uncomfortable.
And the Babu Msholozi uyisoka uyazi ukuthi sometimes izinto ezenzeke 25 years ago, they don't matter today. Ngiyasho nje. Right, the next story had me floored as tweets shared their stories under the hashtag dumped over petty things. Because, sometimes it's the petty things that get into the way of happily ever after yakho. So these are some of the tweets that actually made it to my timeline. Umbhali Woduma said this. Only that my car was broken. And then she realized that she couldn't have Johnny Walker, which is walking, umuntu ongena moto. But once the ride started moving again, she was all lovey-dovey. I told her to go fly a kite. Then D. Maninjwa added this. D. Maninjwa said, I once dumped someone because of farting in her sleep. I can't tolerate such behavior.
No, don't clap.
That's great.
guys.
Last babe said that I once got dumped because I refused to do his dishes.
I stand these toxic kings.
So I thought
You
it would be
stand in
interesting.
toxic king.
Stand a toxic
I thought it would be interesting for us to play a little game called Date or Ditch with my co-host. All right, so I'm going to ask you, it's just a few scenarios. We'll go around the table.
Okay.
Tell me date or ditch. So someone doesn't have good grammar or spelling. Ditch.
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 They can be taught. It's called ABET, Adult Basic Education.
Okay, so
You've got time. You've got time, eh?
This is now the person that you want to spend a lot of time with.
ABET!
So half the time they're at Abed, half the time
imagine
they're at
you are at a restaurant, a nice restaurant, and then somebody says they want a strawberry dakwa.
It's my project, okay? I'm working on Homeboy, ABET.
There's another one, a bad kisser.
That's
Ditch.
fine.
Ditch, right away.
Ditch. Why fine?
You can, just like you can be taught Abbott, you can be taught how to kiss. We all didn't know how to kiss at some
You know
stage.
that most bad kissing comes with bad breath.
What?
It's a scientific fact.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
Sorry, how pretty was she?
She's so hot.
All right. The next one is does not share their food.
Keep her.
Keep.
How are we doing anything together and you won't share your food with me?
It's called looking at the menu and ordering what you want to eat.
Okay.
And then I look at the menu and I order what I want to eat.
But you want to shower together?
No, even there, shower by yourself, eat your own food.
In your own thing. Okay, never
You
mind.
guys are not romantic at all.
All right, this one is close to home.
Very close to home.
This one's very close to home as a Debonite. A person with a gold tooth or grills.
Ditch.
Ditch.
Sometimes you have no choice.
So, Maple, do you miss your gold tooth?
You know what? Can I tell you something?
Not Blair.
Oh, demons will never shake me. I am fine. And the thing is, can I tell you something?
Was it a real full cap
It was
or was
an
it like
L.
a star?
It was an
or a
L.
cross?
I had my L, and the thing is, I took it out when I realized that the time is coming. And that's why I don't have tattoos.
You know, Msizi looks so good with a gold tooth.
No. My sister had to do that. We had to pray for her. My mom prayed. She got rid of it. No. We can't allow those things in my mom's house. It's fine.
Msizi, thank you so much for coming through here and telling us that you couldn't kiss for a long time. Come back again, and we'll ask you more pressing questions.
I'm not leaving, so thank you so much for doing what you just did.
And I'm watching you. You leave that mug.
Thank you, everyone.
No. I'm watching you. You're not taking
No,
the
guys,
mug.
thank you for having me. This has been really good.
And it will be nice when you come back, they'll be dressed like they actually live in the 2000s. So
We might not. No
Okay.
promises.
Okay, well, you can also get involved by sharing with us the things that would make you ditch or date your romantic partner. It's #TSA3 on all our social media. After the break, we'll talk love is an extreme sport with Dudu Nhlabati-Madonsela. She's here, and we're going to ask, are millennials commitment phobes? Don't miss out.
well done. Come Ella. There we go. Oh, no glitching, I like
Welcome
it.
back to Trading SA. We are still on your timeline. Now, let's get into it. The modern culture of dating has birthed new forms of courtship, situationships, and no strings attached relationships, which obviously affect our attitudes towards romance and traditional views of commitment. So the burning question that we're asking today is, are millennials really commitment phobes, or is it, just relationship anxiety?
Helping us answer this question is seasoned relationship and dating coach and the author of Love is an Extreme Sport, Dudu Nhlabati-Madonsela. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Dudu.
How are you?
Fantastic. You
Nice
clearly
to
are
meet you.
quite well, looking gorgeous.
Okay, so what is commitment phobia? Because I think that we just need to outline this, because you see so many people, and can you see someone who's a commitment phobe coming from down the road there? What should we look for in our potential partners?
You can't always see them, but I mean, it's a person who has commitment issues with people. So I could be extremely committed to my job, my dog, anything else. But when it comes to people, I have commitment phobia. So that's when somebody has commitment phobia. Can you see somebody who's got commitment phobia? Well, there are certain people who live certain lifestyles in order to avoid commitment phobia. Like, the F-boys. Those are the guys whereby they tend to, I used the nice word,
Yeah,
right?
the nice word, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So they tend to live that particular lifestyle, and everybody thinks they do it because they want to be in control. But deep down, actually, they have emotional abandonment issues. They tend to be emotionally unavailable because they're trying to protect themselves. But there are some people who have commitment phobia, but they don't know they've got commitment phobia. So they tend to go after emotionally unavailable lovers. And there's a lot of women who say, I'm always attracting these guys who are emotionally unavailable, or the bad boys. Why is this particularly happening to me? But they choose those particular people because they know that my Blair eventually will come home at 2 a.m. won't be able to account for his whereabouts, and I'll eventually dump him, and I'll tell everybody else, oh, no, you know what, men,
Men are no good.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting perspective that you bring to the discussion. We actually put up a poll on Twitter, and we asked you at home to tell us what commitment looks like to you. There it is there. 43.2% of people said exclusive. That's what commitment looks like to us. Coming in second in the poll was 42.6% saying marriage, and only 14.2% saying fuck and sit.
Dude.
So I guess we're wondering. This makes us wonder: is marriage out of fashion? Do people just actually want a meaningful connection, and that's all that matters to them at this point?
I don't think necessarily. I think people are realizing that you can be in a fully committed relationship without necessarily being married to someone. I think the world is becoming more liberal in that sense.
Sure.
Is marriage out of fashion? We have to look at it in the context of South Africa. A lot of people come from single-parent households, and that in itself changes the structure of the family, right?
Sure.
And if you haven't seen either healthy relationships or you haven't seen marriages that particularly work, you might be doubtful with regards to what marriage is and whether a marriage is going to add any value. So a lot of the people that you see with commitment phobia out there or have negative views about marriage, it's almost like they are lived experience or their socializations to say, I saw this or I didn't see this, because it could go the other way. You could either desire an ideal that you see on TV that is an unrealistic ideal of marriage, or you can actually desire, or you can go the other way where you say, I don't want marriage at all, because you fear that you might have your aunts, mothers, or whoever's lived experience.
Yeah,
Okay, so what about people that talk about the fact that the divorce rate is at the point where it's at, and is it working? Is marriage working right now?
You know, with every construct of every relationship, right, we have to look at what influences. And I'm going to give you an example.
Yeah.
My mom got married at 24. And she said to me, you don't have to get married at 24, because at 24 we had nothing else to do. I got myself a degree, and the next thing was to get myself a husband. The problem about relationship advice is that, and that's why you have somebody like me who's a dating coach. I bridge the gap between your mother's advice and what is practically out there, right? Is that we are living on principles that where our parents lived on those particular principles. This is how you do relationship. This is how you do marriage. For example, marriage was designed in such a way that the woman was the one who was the caregiver while the guy was going and making all the money, right? And that construct has changed. Does it mean that marriage is bad? It doesn't necessarily mean that. It means that we have to adjust our narrative to the times that we live in. And many people struggle with that, because to be honest, nobody teaches us how to relationship. Nobody teaches us how to get into a marriage.
Yes,
we get in
true.
there, we do our own things, and sometimes our own things is a point of reference of, oh, how did my parents do it? I go in with the expectation that my dad was this kind of a husband, so you have to be this kind of husband. In the construct of the modern world, that is difficult, it's not going to work, and hence you find people opting for divorce. And I mean, there's another story I could go into where we are in an instant gratification culture. We rely so much on technology. If I go on a website and it doesn't download in 10 seconds, I'm off to the next one. And if I go on a date and you don't download in 30 minutes, on to the next one. And if my marriage doesn't download in a year, I'm off.
So in this age of individualism being everything, is individualism and marriage or a long-term commitment, are these two things just incompatible, just mutually exclusive?
Not necessarily. So a lot of people enter relationships with empty cups. So we go in and we say, you need to fill me, but we don't even know what you need to fill me with, right? So what happens is that we think that, you know what, if I enter a marriage and this person doesn't fill my empty cup, then I'm going to focus on me. So we have these unrealistic expectations of marriage. Marriage, actually, best marriages work if people are two individuals in a relationship, right? So most people think that you have to come in and you have to complete me with the set of standards that I don't even understand myself, because I don't understand the person that I am. So I don't think they are incompatible. I think that it's also our socialization, right? We live in an era whereby pursue success and everything else comes afterwards, right? And we can get addicted to it. I mean, I'm a dating coach. When I started dating, I had, single life withdrawal symptoms, right? But it's about maturity and having honest conversations with yourself to say, what is it that I want? And we think life is perfect. You will go into marriage and you'll be like, ooh, what's happening here?
So
right?
how do you fix that commitment phobe in you if it's something that you want to tackle?
You have to know where it stems from. If it stems from a childhood trauma where you were abandoned by your primary caregiver, especially if it is your mother, you have to go for counseling, right? So if I have somebody come in and they have commitment phobia, I'm like, psychologist first, then come back to me, right?
Sure.
So that's one. If it comes from being abandoned in your adulthood by a lover, you have to deal with those issues. You can't take those issues into a relationship and expect that the person that you're with is going to heal you. So unfortunately, the healing has to come from you. You have to do all the work before you even bother somebody's child and be like, sorry, can I have your number?
Beautiful. On that note, thank you so much, Dudu, for coming in and spending some time with us. Really enjoyed your insights.
Thank you, guys.
It was a pleasure. And that's where we leave it for tonight. Tomorrow, we take our discussion a notch up as we talk friends with benefits with popular Metro FM radio broadcaster and club DJ, Bona, the Naked DJ. And we'll see you tomorrow, Msizi. It's a date. See you at 6 p.m. tomorrow.